Well, good morning, everybody. What's up? We're live right now. It is 8:19 a.m. And so I figured I would start off the day um, pretty much, hey, the individual, what's up, man? Already in here. Thank you for dropping by. Um, so we actually have some topics to talk about today, which is kind of crazy. Well, it's not really crazy because we've seen this coming for such a long time. I mean, it's been portrayed in movies, it's been portrayed in TV shows. And so we're going to start it off with tech taking over our jobs because this is literally what's happening. Slowly and slowly, it's happening nowadays. You can go into certain stores and see that this is actually starting to happen. So, I mean, we've seen places where, such as like Walmart and Target, where they have self checkout, right? Now, before, if you kind of think about it, 5 years ago when self checkout, came out, well, not really came out, it's been out, but I mean, when it started to get more and more hype behind it, 5 years ago, you used to have like two aisles that was like self checkout, right? So you still had lanes of cashiers that would ring you up and get you checked out, your groceries or your general purchases. Now, when you go into those same stores, Walmart and Target, their self checkout lane has doubled or even tripled. So no longer is it just like, one lane or two lane with, two or three kiosks. Now it's like, 9 or 10 kiosks. It's starting to show its proficiency. But what does that do for the average person? What does it do for their job? I mean, yes, I know they have to have somebody actually man the machine. Someone has to be there in case there's an error or in case there's some slight issue. They have to be there. But majority of it is done by a machine, which, if this machine continues to show proficiency in what they needed, to be done, we, of course, like anything else out there, you can expect more and more and more to be brought in, right? And now it's kind of gone out of just Walmart, Target, and like grocery stores. I think, on a trip that I took, we stopped off at a McDonald's, and the McDonald's has a touch screen, a giant touchscreen display where you can literally customize your order and have your order placed, pay by debit, and take a number and sit down and wait for someone from McDonald's to bring you your food. Which is starting to eliminate a person behind the counter who takes your order, places your order, takes your money, makes change, and brings your food up. And it's starting to go into those jobs. And I know those are entry-level jobs, but we still need people to work them, right? So with people actually, with this system being implemented in, begs the question, do we really need them? I use the McDonald's app to order online. Yeah, we even have that as another option too. You can always get your order put in before you even arrive at McDonald's using your smartphone and applications. But even like in-house, because ordering online on the app, does save time when you're about to make your trip over there. But sometimes, you end up going to lunch, and on the spur of the moment, you're like, let's go to McDonald's. You go into McDonald's, you order. There's someone behind the counter that takes your order. But now they're having these kiosks that are going to do that, and they're starting to implement it. I mean, I seen this in Alabama a long time ago on my trip going to Florida. There was a McDonald's on the way. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 hours after you leave the state of Louisiana, or less than that. I may be over exaggerating that. It probably seemed like 3 or 4 hours because the drive was so long, but there was a McDonald's that had a touchscreen ordering system, and I seen that there, and that was, my gosh, that was I think I would say 2006. That was a long time ago, but now, it wasn't touchscreen, but you did have a keyboard and stuff where you can actually order and stuff like that from the kiosk. But the same kiosk looks exactly the same right now, only this one's touchscreen. But still, it's pushing people out of jobs. I mean, we can't deny the fact there are people out there who decided to make some bad decisions in life, decided to drop out of high school, uh, you know, and those people don't have like a high school diploma. They don't have, at least some years under their belt in college, and getting jobs at, Walgreens or McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell is the only viable option they have until they get their GED and progress in life. And with these machines taking over, basically, what entry level job are they going to be able to get? They're not going to be able to, apply for a job, say, such as data entry and get hired for it. You need some sort of, not some sort of, but you need schooling to validate that you can do the job. And yeah, that's it's literally like cutting out what I call them the underdogs, because it's not like they're worthless. They just have to take step by step and progress throughout life to get into a better area of their life. So with these jobs, with these machines taking those jobs, leaves them pretty much in a spot that's just like, there's not really much for them to do. I mean, sure, they could be the ones that man the machine and literally just, watch over the machine and make sure that it's not glitching out or anything like that. But how many people do they really need hired to do that? They wouldn't need 6 or 7 people to govern over 10 kiosks when they have, a little touchscreen pad on that slides onto the wrist that they could, like if it's an ID check type of thing. Someone just try to buy like a bottle of vodka or something. They don't need that many people to authorize it. There's talk of giving everyone a universal basic income in the future. Yeah, I wonder how long that, like how well that would do. Universal basic income in the future. I mean, that almost sounds similar to like what welfare is right now. I mean, because that's basically what they do, right? Which is like one of the saddest things in the world. I mean, I know some people will look down upon people that apply for welfare and use welfare to get, supplemental income from the government or food stamps or whatever it may be. I'm not one to really judge anybody, but at the same time too, you have to give up something with that. I know people who go and get food stamps. I know people who go and get supplemental income, and believe me, they literally ask you like everything under the sun. Like, you have no privacy, just to get some sort of help from your government. In return, you have no privacy. They need to know everything about you. That's like I don't know. For me, that's like a hard way to live, because you need some form of privacy in your life when it comes to that. But yeah, the universal basic income, I mean, that's really what it sounds like to me. It's just a more overglorified name of just, basically saying welfare, But I mean, even with that, still, when it starts off at entry level, just about how long does it take before it starts going after, the middle class? Like, how long will it take before it starts taking those jobs? Like, in a way, I mean, again, this is one of those things where like technology is good, but technology can also be bad. Technology is good because, it makes things, makes your job, makes things easier, right? I mean, if you're doing like, say, if you do what I do, of course, you need a computer, you need a phone line to talk to people every day, to resolve issues and resolve problems they may have, right? You're not going to be able to do it with like a notebook and a pen. Now, obviously, you do need a computer. You do need some sort of software system that's set up and delegated over the product and the services that you are selling to customers. So yeah, I mean, technology is needed. It's just there's a lot of people that have fear that they eventually will be replaced by machines. Kind of like what happened to Charlie's dad in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or even the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of broke that down a little bit more. And I guess Charlie's dad worked for the toothpaste company, and the machine was more proficient in twisting caps onto tubes of toothpaste than a human could. So And that's the fear that a lot of people are starting to have. I mean, some people see the value in it. They see the value in placing your order through a touchscreen kiosk at a McDonald's, because sometimes you just have rude customer service people, right? Sometimes you just have people that like have really bad attitudes, and you don't want to go to lunch and have your order taken by somebody who's just like, "Welcome to McDonald's. What do you want?" Type of thing, right? So you don't really have an interaction. Did my headphones? They did. My headphones just died. Hold on. That's why you always carry backups. That was my fault, though, because I did not charge my headphones. So I got to charge them up. All right, so this should be a little bit better. And the only reason I like these is because the microphones are better than what's on the Chromebook. But yeah, so interesting enough to know, the fear of machines taking our jobs. I mean, it's just one thing that I can see why people are getting a little bit fearful for it. But anyways, jumping on to the next thing, we're going to talk about Samsung Galaxy S9. The S9, one feature that is being talked about is 3D emojis. Now, different articles that I've read from the Play Newsstand basically states that this idea that what the S9 is doing is basically what I guess the iPhone 10 can do with Emojis, animated emojis. So basically, I don't know if it's going to be the same concept where it's just going to basically scan your face and turn your face on a video into an emoji, or if they're meaning 3D emojis, as in like animated emojis that you can choose and pick from, and that will display some sort of motion or anything like that. Kind of like what you'll find in Allo. I doubt it's the second. I really think it's the same, because I mean, Samsung and Apple are like really running neck and neck as far as the devices that they put out and the types of features that they have. But my thing is that are those types of things really important to the user out there? I don't know, maybe I think differently, and maybe that's why, what I say comes out, to be a little bit weird. Maybe I'm just not one that is easily impressed by said features like that. Maybe I'm more impressed of performance and experience. And maybe that's the reason why, like, I know I'm very critical about these things. Like, I look at a phone and it doesn't, no matter what types of features it has, I'm not going to run out and spend $900 or even $1,000 for a phone. Like, today's pricings of phones is getting absolutely ridiculous for what it is, for what it is. I mean, if you look statistically today, mobile cell phones are like on the top 10 list of things that are either stolen or lost daily, frequently, by hour. I mean, someone loses a Galaxy S8, like what, every minute? One person just lost one right now. I'm guarantee you, it's probably on the subway seat, it's probably on the bus, or it's probably at the park bench. It just happens a lot. And so because of those things, I don't see that I could spend $1,000 for a phone and possibly, be dense-minded and lose it. And Emojis is exclusive to iPhone 10. I feel like it's basically a way to show off that you have $1,000 plus phone. Yeah. But the Galaxy S9 is coming up with their own version of it, which is 3D emojis, what they're calling it. So I'm thinking it may be something in the lines of the same. I mean, we can't really write off Samsung and say that they don't bite things from Apple. The same way that we can't say that Apple doesn't bite things from Samsung or Android. I mean, they do the same thing. They see what the next person's doing and they do it. Now, Apple's been known for the longest time to be doing things like that. Apple would be that one company that would say, okay, smartwatches are coming out. Are we going to make a smartwatch? No, we're not going to make one. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. We're going to wait until they put out all their stuff and put out the best that they got. And then we're going to do ours and we're going to put ours out. And then they end up doing it. And then it actually functions good because they see all the flaws that's happened in this beta version of technology. And they stepped in and made sure they left a way to correct some of the issues. I mean, I know Apple's not really known for correcting software issues now versus what there was when Jobs was alive. But I mean, hey, I read the next Android software update called Android P to have that iPhone notch. No. The iPhone notch is the iPhone notch. You got to remember, when it comes to Android, there are many different manufacturers. And the notch on the iPhone 10 is not a software thing, it's a hardware thing. So they wouldn't purposely put a notch on the software. I mean, you pretty much, if you think about it right now, let me take that step back. If you pretty much think about it right now, if if you want to say say it's on the software thing on the UI, you pretty much already have one. And if you think about it, that little top part right there with your Wi-Fi indicator and your date, your time, your battery percentage, that could be considered a top notch right there, software wise. But no, if Google intends to, since they've actually made the purchase of HTC, if Google's intending to make the next Pixel have a top notch situation similar to the iPhone 10, then that would be hardware wise. But for Android, like software, like user experience wise, we already have a top notch. That's that little top notification area. Hardware wise, I don't think LG, Samsung, Motorola are all going to get on the same page and build phones identically alike in every way, because there's different aspects of them, like the Moto E5 Play that's coming to Verizon. I mean, the E5 is already coming out. I have the E4. The E5 is coming out, and it's already making its way to Verizon. I believe it's also making its way to Cricket as well. Well, the version of the E5 is going to Cricket. So, yeah, I don't know about that whole top-notch thing or iPhone notch thing. And I mean, I know that Apple's next devices are all going to have that. On topic of losing phones, what do you do if a stranger asks you to use your phone? I feel like there isn't no way to refuse without sounding rude. It's pretty awkward. And I know exactly what you mean, because I feel that way too. But what I do is, like, if someone comes up and says, hey, I need to make a phone call, I don't have my phone, may I borrow yours? Okay. So I wouldn't even really tell them like no. I mean, depending on how they look. Okay. If I get really bad vibes, okay, like, I mean, because you know how you are, like, everybody did not need to be bitten by the genetically made spider to have spider senses. I mean, we all have that. You could stand by someone and just get that gosh odd vibe that says, hey, something's not right about this person. I mean, if you get bad vibes, literally tell them you're out of minutes. I mean, people today have heard me say this, like somebody that was like staring at my phone, on the train, is looking at it, is looking to see what my password, because if I have to type in a password, they're kind of trying to look at my screen. So they're like, yo, let me see your phone real quick. I got to make a call. It's like, bro, I'm out of minutes. And they'll believe me, even though today most markets, especially, mostly prepaid too as well, offers unlimited talk. They'll buy that. But if it's somebody that's like, okay, you know what, I don't want to hand my phone over to somebody else, I will ask them, give me the number, I'll dial it in, and I'll put it on speakerphone. And, if they're cool about it, I mean, if they have no intention of taking your phone, if they just really legitimately make a phone call, then they're not going to argue with you about it. I've passed by the downtown jail, and they let people out, people that were in detox or whatever, and they'll be out there with no phones, and they'll be like, I need to use a phone. So they'll come up to me if I walk past them and be like, yo, and I need to use a phone. I need to get a ride home. Can I use your phone real quick? I don't have to hold your phone. You can put it on speakerphone. I'll just stand next to you. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Boom, put the number in, call, hold it up. They talk. They can hear the person that's talking. So there are ways. I mean, at the end of the day, mostly everyone has a smartphone today, or some sort of cellular communication. So whether it may not be a smartphone, it could be a flip phone, it could be a feature phone, but almost everyone has it. So I read that Verizon will temporarily lock their phones on their network starting this spring to prevent theft. Well, yeah, Verizon didn't really have their phones locked down, so with their phones not being locked down, carrier locked, basically, if someone stole the Verizon phone, they can put it on AT&T or T-Mobile. Now, there's this mythical blacklisted ESN, MEIDs, IMEIs. Apparently, all carriers are supposed to be sharing the same list. It's a list of devices that's been marked stolen. And I don't know. I've heard about this mythical list. I've actually never really seen it. So I don't know if this list is real. If there's actually a list that's shared between all four carriers that has a list of MEIDs, IMEIs, or ESNs, and that they are considered blacklisted, where they can't be activated, unlocked, or for any reason, because there are other ways to get a device carrier unlocked. I mean, normally you would go through your provider, and they will unlock it based on the policy, which is the next topic I'm going to talk about. I just had someone ask to use my phone. I didn't let them use it. Yeah, it was awkward. Yeah, but I mean, most people should just take it on the chin and walk away. Like, the way I always look at it is like, okay, if someone asks to use your phone and you're like, sorry, I'm using it, or no, I can't let you use it. If they're gonna get like overly upset about it, then they had more intentions than just making a phone call. I mean, that's the way that I'm gonna see it. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I'm gonna see it. Because there's no reason for you to get upset. If I say no, there's other people with phones. Just take it on the chin and move to the next one. Maybe one of them are going to be nicer than me and allow you to use their phone. But if you're like overly upset and he won't let me use his phone and da 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 da, like, why are you still stuck on it? I just said no. Like, keep it moving. If you can't keep it moving, then obviously there was something about what I have that you want. When I read the Verizon news, I was thinking it was a response to the prepaid Moto E4. Probably, because I know a lot of people, went after that one because one, it was like easily unlocked. Paul Tech and everyone just pretty much ruined it for Verizon. They knew of a way to get the E4 and the E4 Plus unlocked that didn't really break your wallet. And I'm sure a lot of people did it. They went to Walmart, they bought the phones for dirt cheap, and then they got them unlocked the same day. So, yeah. But I don't know. Device unlock policies. Yeah, the Moto E4. Had to be that, though, because the Moto E4 was a pretty popular budget device. But device unlock policies, man, I got to share a story with you guys, because you guys are awesome. I can't tell you specifics, okay? So I can't tell you the account specifics or anything. But every carrier has a device unlock policy, right? And that company sets the tone for what their policy is going to be. Like with Boost Mobile, you have to have your phone active on Boost Mobile for 1 year. For 1 year, and then, afterwards, you can unlock it. And they know that in a year's time, basically all the hype behind the phone is almost gone. And so, yeah, why not unlock it? They can take it to wherever they want to go, Sprint's unlock policy, it requires 3. One is that the phone has to be active on the Sprint network for more than 50 days. Now, let's start off with that one, because people are like, what if you're trying out their services and you have the 14-day satisfaction guarantee return? Well, this is kind of the way that they, one, it's a double-edged sword, because yes, it does keep you past the 14-day satisfaction guarantee, where you can't cancel and wipe the entire debt clean. But at the same time, too, Sprint's not in the business of selling phone, say that they sell a phone cheaper than what the next carrier does. They don't want people coming over to buy the phone, temporarily get services on it, and then cancel the services and take that phone and go somewhere else with it, So, I mean, there's two sides to everything. Hey, what's going on? How you doing, sassy tech girl? So, yeah, but I mean, that's one of the policies right there, is that it has to be active for 50 days. Second policy is the phone has to be paid off. So if it's under installment billing, which is a 24-month term, you have to make sure that the entire balance is paid off. If it's on a lease, you have to either finish out wherever remaining months that are on the lease. You have to finish those out and pay out the phone. And then the last little detail of it is that your account cannot have a past due balance. So you can have a balance. Like it can say like you have you check your balance. Your balance is like $700, hypothetically speaking. But that's current, right? That's for your current services. That's for all the phones that you lease. That's for the insurance you pay for it. That's for the extra features you bought and the games that you purchased and third-party purchases, hypothetically speaking, right? But if it's current, if it's not considered between 1 and 30 days past due or 31 to 60 days past due, then you're good. It's current. It's current bill. It doesn't count as past due. But if you have a bill that's 1 and 30 days past due, or a bill that's even longer past due, well, then that negates our ability to have that phone unlocked. Now, the first two to a lot of people make sense. Buy out the phone, have it active for 50 days on the Sprint network before you can unlock it. The last one people always like to argue about, having a past due balance. And then they'll use a famous line, "You're holding my phone hostage." No, we're not. We just want you to have your bill caught up. And that is a requirement because, I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to your bill balance, that's one of the things that we ultimately need. Like, you need something from us. You want the phone unlocked, right? You want to be able to sell it on eBay or sell it wherever you want to sell it, give it to a family member, or maybe you are planning on going to a different provider with that phone, okay? And that's fine. That's fine and dandy. But if you have a past due balance, they're not going to unlock it. That's just how it is. It's policy. We can't break it. It's just like, committing murder is a crime. You can't go out there and expect a police officer to let you slide, just because you shot somebody in the head. Policy is policy. They have to arrest you. They have to do an investigation. And if you're found that, that there was no real good reason for you to do it, well, then you do time in jail. Same with this. It may not be a murder case, but you have a past due balance. Pay it, and then they will unlock it. And that's the word that they like to use a lot, is we're holding the phone hostage. Okay. I wanted to share that bit of story with you because I literally got yelled at for an hour and 15 minutes. It was real interesting because I was called every name in the book. And even because of what phone am I rocking? So I'm rocking the Moto E4 Plus. And on Freedom Pop, I'm rocking the Nextbit Robin. And it's kind of sad though. I mean, I know people kind of like they kind of go to that. Do you get any perks from your job, like reduced from? Yeah, actually we do. I mean, there's a specific plan that's only for employees, which is a really good discounted rate, like a really, really good discounted rate. Problem is that I don't like leasing phones. Okay. I know people will do it. I don't need like the most expensive phone, so I don't have to lease a phone or do installments. I'm totally fine with budget devices, and so Boost Mobile just keeps my business. Plus, there's no taxes and fees. A lot of people they really get upset about that with Sprint, and Sprint has no plans on ever changing their plans to have taxes and fees included at this time. Boost Mobile does, and so that's why I stick with them. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to angry customers, I mean, today, I know they get pretty racial. Okay, I was called some really mean things. I mean, like if I wouldn't have gotten in trouble, if I could actually have recorded that call and then played it for you guys would be amazed at what this person called me. This person called me every name in the book, and I know all they were trying to do was get under my skin to get a reaction so that I would submit the case. So I'll tell you guys right now, for those people who ever have Sprint, when you call in to get your phone unlocked, of course, they're going to send you to a department called Account Services, which is retention. Now, none of the agents are lying when they say they can't unlock it immediately because we don't do the device unlocks. There's no button for us to touch that says unlock the phone. We don't send out the remote signal at all. What we do is we fill out a case, and that case goes to the back office team. And we don't have a direct number to the back office because that is one thing. I mean, like the back office is pretty much like the highest escalations that there is. And they do not want to be bothered with people calling in because people are human. So some people would look at an escalation and think, oh, this warrants this. And if they had a direct line to them, they'd be ringing them off the hook to get this thing solved when it was something that the agent could have solved on customer care level. So back office doesn't have a direct line to be talked to. Everything is submitted by cases, and then the back office team contacts the customer back. That's how it works. So with submitting unlock cases, account services or retention doesn't have the ability to do it. They can't make it done in the same day. Gotta admit that Essential Phone deal on Sprint was tempting, but I can't do leasing. Yeah, you know what? That deal was absolutely crazy because there were people that were calling in. They leased the phone for $5 a month, but then get this: the purchase amount of the phone went completely cheap. I think what it was that they paid it off, and I think it only really costed them like it was like 195 to really just pay it off and own it, rather than the full SRP, which I think was like 700 is what the price was for the phone. So a lot of people they leased the phone, they used it for a couple of months, and then they got it paid off, unlocked, and so yeah, people really bought that phone for like $200. Thank you. I appreciate that, Pop Trigger. I really do. But yeah, the Essential Phone was like one of the things, and I think a lot of people who did it ended up putting it on Boost Mobile. Cause I know Boost Mobile, you can put the Essential Phone on it, and I was thinking about getting one. I was thinking about literally getting a Sprint unlocked Essential Phone and putting it on Boost Mobile. The only downside to me doing that though is that like I heard there were some issues with the Essential Phone as far as its updating and whatnot, its systems, and it just wasn't coming out like bug wise, camera wise. There were just too much, and I didn't see anything really getting ironed out. Like for instance, the ZTE Max XL had some issues that a lot of you guys who've had the phone reported to like CB Tech and everybody else, and I seen ZTE fix that because then CB Tech jumped on YouTube and told everyone how ZTE fixed the issue with the Max XL. I never really seen anything like that for the Essential Phone. Like I know it has some cool features to it and it has some good things to it, but then I've heard some negative things about it that are key to what I'm looking for in a phone. And with those things being the way that they are, and then not seeing that there was a resolve or a fix for it, makes me lean on the fence about it. But maybe one day I'll get it, because I know I like to try things that are like the underdog. So like the Essential Phone was always the underdog. Could you imagine how we had to explain to people what the Essential Phone was, and that it was it's a company that was started by one of the founding creators of Android, and then people would be like, oh, but they really thought it was an iPhone 10 knockoff, even though the Essential Phone came out before the iPhone 10, and they don't really have the same upper notch area, because the Essential Phone just has a small little cut, like wrap around, and that's for where the front facing camera is at. And the iPhone 10 has a long notch going from edge to edge, really. Not really edge to edge, but kind of close to that. Does Virgin Mobile offer iPhone now? That's all I see. Well, they still sell Android devices. You can find them in Best Buy, Walmart, Target. But Virgin Mobile, with its partnership with Apple, they're actually more goal focused on iPhones. So, I mean, when they first launched Inner Circle, I mean, literally, you had some, like, if you were immersed in the iOS ecosystem, Virgin Mobile would probably be like one of the best places to get an iPhone on prepaid with some killer perks to it. I mean, it was like what, like $1 for a year's service, and then after that, it goes back up to its normal price, like $1. That's $1. $1. If you bought an iPhone through Virgin Mobile and you paid $1 a year service, right? There's more perks of being in the Inner Circle. So I think people were like wondering if Virgin Mobile was going to be more focused on iPhones, and then Boost Mobile is going to be more focused on Androids. But no, Boost Mobile is not going to stick to only Android. They're not going to separate the two in that form or fashion. It's just Virgin Mobile has a partnership deal with Apple, and so they will continue to do some crazy, innovative perks and deals for prepaid with iPhones. And Boost will remain as it is, both, a platform for both Android and iOS. Boost Mobile is good prepaid service options. Yeah, but they sell Androids in the store, want you to buy an iPhone, and then they don't offer stuff. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, it's really weird. It's really weird how they're doing it. But the goal, and this was just, this was just in communications. So this is just what from I know of. But the goal is actually to phase out Android on Virgin Mobile. And it's not that they're being totally biased. It's just, the deal that they have with Apple. So I mean, they have a lot of back inventory, and it does make sense that they're gonna market those out. They're gonna sell it out. And it's crazy too because I'm like when a new phone drops, that for like Sprint's prepaid, if a new Android phone comes out, Virgin Mobile ends up getting it. So it's like they're just refeeding into that. But their goal was to phase out support for Android. Boost Mobile is awesome. Yeah. And yeah, it's hard for me, to like literally tell you guys things that's going on under the sun for Boost Mobile, Virgin Mobile, and Sprint before it's actually said. And I just don't want to get in trouble. There is certain things I can talk about. There is certain things I can't. But a lot of you guys already knew about the $60 plan. Virgin Mobile is bad, cheap, crackerjack service. But what's crazy though, Virgin Mobile is bad, cheap, crackerjack service, and they literally run on the same network with Boost Mobile. So I mean, that's just weird how, because I'm not saying that you're wrong. Trust me, I've seen it. I've had Virgin Mobile. I've seen Virgin Mobile speeds in my area. I've used it, and I'm like, it was okay for me. But Boost Mobile, when I switched to Boost Mobile was faster. But they're both on Sprint's network, so I don't know, it's weird. Do you think it's possible Apple will acquire Virgin Mobile and make it their own service? No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. If Apple wanted to acquire a service provider to make it their own service, I feel like Apple would choose the service provider that they originally started with, which is AT&T. So if Apple wanted to buy a mobile service provider, it would be AT&T. That's where they originally started, because the very first iPhone, when it first released, you could only get it on AT&T. Man, I don't know if you guys remember those days. AT&T made a killing. I mean, they literally could charge you a down payment of $1,000 because they knew people were pouring in for that iPhone. I haven't had Boost in 6 years. Has coverage improved? Coverage is improving. I can say that much. And the infrastructure, I mean, there's only so much that's actually given to Boost Mobile. There's so much that's given to Virgin Mobile, and then there's what's for Sprint postpaid, and which is weird because a lot of people I work with have Sprint postpaid, and I have Boost Mobile, and at times when their signal gets a little buggy, sometimes mine's hold strong, but Boost Mobile's gotten a lot better, especially with some of the devices now, like the Max XL and the LG X Power, and what their capabilities are. So like a lot of people were wondering what capabilities that or what feature does the Max XL and the X Power have, and what they actually are, we call them bridge devices, because for those that know about Sprint, you have Sprint network. But on that network, to kind of bridge the gap between towers, they have the Magic Box, right? But then they also rely on phones to be a bridge too. So like the Max XL, while you're using data on it, it's actually bridging connections between Magic Box towers and other devices in your area. So your phone literally is helping other devices have better signal. And it's a weird concept what Sprint has. And some people think it's going to fail, because of what it is, like when Sprint chose WiMAX or everything. But so far, it's actually doing some good. So I don't know. But for me personally, it's gotten better. I remember when we had the ZTE warp and I bashed that thing. I was so angry with. Yeah, ZTE has come a long way though from what it used to be. ZTE, I gotta give it up to ZTE. They made some good strides. Both on Boost Mobile, on Metro, and on Cricket. Which is sad too, because I mean Huawei was already targeted of being a not trusted company by the US, and I think they're going to start targeting ZTE as well. I don't know what that's about. I mean, yes, People are like, the Chinese are ciphering information from us, from our phones. But then, I mean, I don't know. I can't downplay it and say it's not a security risk, because it is. Because if you do online banking, or if you use, like, your phone for purchases and stuff like that, it can cause some real, serious security issues. But I don't know. I think it just depends on the severity of you as a person, and you as a consumer, and what you do. Um, but yeah, they Chinese manufactured devices are getting some massive downplay, like Xiaomi, and that's the reason why you won't see, like, Xiaomi actually sold in the U.S. Like, you won't go into a Walmart and be able to buy any Xiaomi device. They're not trusted. And I had someone literally ask me one day too about that, because they were like, they seen my Honor 8, and they're like, oh, who makes that? And I told them, like, Honor is basically, part of Huawei. And they're like, oh, is that a Chinese company? Like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, I don't know why people get mad over Chinese made devices. Aren't we at war with Korea? Why are we cool with LG and Samsung? And I was like, oh man. We're cool with South Korea. We have slight issues with North Korea, but yeah. ZT is pretty much dominating the carrier budget game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if they are. Yeah, I know. That's gonna be crazy. And they really are dominating the prepaid market game. I mean, when you think about it, you can name off several ones. Like, for Boost Mobile, the Max XL is doing really good. Okay. It doesn't really compare to the Z Max Pro, which was on Metro PCS, or the X Max, or Blade X Max, that's on Cricket. And it goes forward, like, the ZT Blade X Max 2 or whatever. If I massacred that wrong, I'm sorry. But I mean, those phones are killer devices, and for the price that they were all under $200. They were all under the $200 mark, and yet they performed like a $300 device. So that was real interesting. Your Boost Mobile family plan is awesome. Just $100 for 4 lines unlimited. Yeah, that's a killer deal. That's dope. Don't trade it off for anything. But I know people are talking about the $60 plan right now that could also be merged into a family plan. So it's $60. You get HD. You get the bandwidth for HD streaming, and you get 20 gigs of hotspot for $60. I mean, $10 more than the $50 plan. And the $50 plan has SD streaming, basically, or 480p streaming, and 8 gigabytes of mobile hotspot. So not bad of a plan at all. But it's just kind of weird when I went through on the video and I showed you guys, like, the tier listing for, like, how many devices you have on that new plan and what it would cost you. $220 for 5 lines, $180 for 4 lines. So with the plan that you have, 4 lines for 100, stick with it, because it's not going to be around very long. So how many of you guys are excited for the 2 movies I'm going to be interested in? The first one, I'm actually repping for them. Well, this is Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World 2. Like, how many of you guys are going to go see that? And then on top of that, how many of y'all are going to go see the Avengers Infinity Wars? Do you use hotspot often? No, I don't. Honestly, I don't, which is why I can't grasp everyone's need for hotspot. Like, if I talk about hotspot, I know people will jump on there and they'll bash a company about how much hotspot they allow for you to use. And I guess for me, I just can't grasp that, because I have home Wi-Fi. And then everywhere else that I go, I only carry my phone with me. And so my phone is what needs the data. So I don't really need it. You'll see Jurassic World. I'm interested in seeing what happens. I really am. Because especially what happened at the end of Jurassic World Part 1. Like, when what's his name? Mizrani basically ceased all activities in their genetics lab, and then like they were trying to get like all the work that the doctor had. They tried to get all that out of there and take it away. It was actually the military that was involved in taking all that stuff away. So I'm wondering, is this going to be part of Jurassic World 2, or is Jurassic World 2 having to consider the island and what's happening on that island, and then they'll probably make like a part 3 that picks off from where the end of part 1 happened. I'm definitely going to see Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, I'm kind of glad it came to this point already where we're now talking about the gauntlet and the Infinity Gems. So I don't know if you guys remember way back in the day the arcade fighting game Marvel Superheroes. And in that game, you can play as different types of Marvel characters such as Spider-Man, Wolverine, Incredible Hulk. And in that game, in each level, a new gem appeared, and you can use that gem to enhance your abilities. So there's reality, power, soul. What the other two are? I can't remember what the other two are. But I mean, there's 5 of them, and then at the end, you end up going one-on-one with Thanos. But he has the Infinity Gauntlet, so he takes those gems away, and it uses their power against you. So it was a crazy game. We used to like play that in the arcade. Like that was the thing. Go to school, get out of school, take the bus to the mall, go to the arcade, crowd around that game, and we're like all fighting for our turn to be able to play it. Did I see the original Jurassic Park in theaters? Yes, I did. Like the original Jurassic Park. I seen it in theaters. My dad took me to see it. Which is why I represent. I remember the first time I saw that movie, I went bananas when the T-Rex got out. And just like the whole park just ran amok. And then at the very end, where they're trying to escape the Velociraptors, and then the T-Rex comes into that hall, that one building, and he just whoops them. He just whoops the Velociraptors. Then he lets out his like iconic roar. It was just so crazy. I had a lot of fun seeing the original one in theaters. As a matter of fact, like I don't know, like I went to see a lot of like good movies in theaters. My dad was like one of his favorite things to do, just like as a father and son thing, was to go to the movies. And he would always take me to see like the Batman movies. So like I seen the first one with Michael Keaton. I seen that one in theaters, Batman Returns, and then I went to see Batman Forever and so on. I honestly think like they went downhill with Batman Forever. So Batman and Batman Returns are like my favorite. And then I like the Dark Knight trilogies. I like those ones too. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh my gosh, the original movie ones. Those are crazy. I went to see both part 1 and 2 and 3 in theaters. 3 was kind of weird though, because they went back in time to like ancient Japan. And then lo and behold, they came out with the game for Super Nintendo where what was that? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4? Turtles in Time. So it was just kind of crazy. Yeah. So, but I'm really interested also in Avengers 2 as well. Just like, just the atmosphere set up. I mean, I always wanted to see if they would ever consider making, because I don't know if you guys remember with Marvel Comics, they had the What If series. And they, like for instance, they had like, I think one of my favorite issues from the What If series is What If Wolverine remained with Alpha Flight. And that was a pretty good one. What have they done to the cartoon turtles? They're horrible. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see what they do to them today's version of the Ninja Turtles, and much less most of the cartoons and TV shows that I grew up watching. I mean, some of them they massacred. Some of them, like Scooby-Doo. My daughters watched I guess I don't know how new this series of Scooby-Doo is, but like the entire thing leads up to them facing off against this demon that's summoned when Planet X aligns, and from the Nibiru effect. And I was just horribly disappointed in that, because when I watched Scooby-Doo, it didn't really have that type of dramatic effect And the mystery club, they weren't summoned together by some unnatural force controlling because of this dark entity that's existed over time. That was just a little bit too much for me. Like when I watched Scooby-Doo, I mean, there was different ones. There was Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And I loved that series. The 13 Ghost of Scooby-Doo was absolutely insane. Um, I liked watching that one because they had that chest where they accidentally released those 13 spirits into the world, and they had to literally go and hunt them down. And then, it didn't really have such a major effect. When you look at it now, like this series I was watching with my kids, um, Scrappy turned evil because I guess they wanted to link the cartoons with the movie, which was horrible. The Scooby-Doo movies was horrible. I'm sorry, it was. And then, what's that kid's name that helped him with the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo? And they said that, like he was such a criminal, so he did these weird things, ended up going to jail or whatever. It was crazy. It was just crazy how they just changed the format of all the characters. So a lot of this new stuff I can't really get into. I mean, I'm hoping they don't mess up my classics, okay? Because I'm a huge fan of Doug. I don't know if you guys remember Doug, but that was one of my favorite things. Like, if I didn't want to go out and hang out with my friends, I was like, 13, 14 years old. If I didn't want to hang out with my friends, if I didn't want to go skating, if I didn't want to go get into trouble, if I just wanted to go home, lock myself in my room, and just chill, my favorite shows to watch was Doug, Hey Arnold, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy. Like, I would look forward to and we didn't have Netflix back then, so I couldn't really binge watch them, but I guess that would be like the older day of binge watching. And then I'd switch over to Cartoon Network and watch Ed, Edd and Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and was it Cow and Chicken, or just, yeah. I'd watch those things. And I wish those things would never get tampered with. Leave them alone. Do not recreate Courage. Certainly do not try and recreate Doug. But yeah, those are my go-to cartoons. Just from, yeah, you open up Pandora's box with that question. So what's new with everybody else? Like, we're in that time, tax return, money's coming in. What phones are you guys looking to buy? Which is actually going to be the next question. Not next question, but the next topic here too is Valentines. How many of you guys are actually really doing some research? These are for the guys, but how many of y'all are actually doing the research and knowing what to get your significant other for Valentine's Day? And how many of you guys are going straight to that smartphone and thinking that smartphone is going to be the best gift to give the person that you love for Valentine's Day? You still use the Honor 8? I'm on the Honor 6. Yeah, I still have my Honor 8. It is here. So I still have it. So I still have an outdated Freedom Pop plan that I currently keeping up with because I don't want to lose it. It's a family plan. So I have 2 lines. I don't pay anything for it really. So it's a free plan. It gives me unlimited talk and text and 1 gigabyte of data. Now the 1 gigabyte is shared between these 2 lines. So I can use this one day. I can use this one another day. I know how much data I'm using, and I don't pay anything for it. So that's what I'm using my Honor 8 for. But what are you guys doing for Valentine's? Even if it's just treating yourself. Nobody sharing? Is it a secret? That'd probably be like the worst thing to ask somebody. It's like, what's your plans for Valentine's Day? Because if someone, that significant person sees the video, then they'll know what you're going to do. So maybe that was a dumb question. I would really basically advise people to really do some research. Because I know sometimes we buy gifts for somebody, and the gifts that we buy, we feel like that person would really like and be interested in. but we kind of also kind of put in our own 2 cents on that gift, and it would be something that we would like too. And so I think when it comes to Valentine's, one, love should be celebrated every day. And I know this sounds so cliche because people try to go through that. Like Thanksgiving, there's always that one person that'll jump on there and be like, you should be thankful every day and not just one day out of the year. Oh, who cares? This is a celebration. It's a holiday. Let's not try to kill it with that stuff. But, still, um, you don't do Valentine's. Why not? You don't have to really have a significant other to enjoy Valentine's Day. I'll tell you guys this: when I was single, I would still treat myself because if before you can give love to somebody else, you got to love yourself. Because if you can't give it to you, how are you going to give it to somebody else, right? So, and I like who I am. I mean, at the end of the day, people judge me. Some people will say mean or hurtful things about me. Some people will say really uplifting and good things about me. And those are great and everything. But, you know, I like who I am at the end of the day. I like the fact that I'm a nerd. I like the fact that I like toys. I like the fact that that I'm interested in comic books and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon Go and all that stuff. Like people will look and be like, dude, you're 35 years old. What are you doing all this stuff? Well, it doesn't matter. Let me do me and you do you. Like I like these things. These are things that I want to do. You could say I have a midlife crisis, and maybe I do, maybe I don't. But at the end of the day, I like who I am. So me being single on Valentine's Day, I really enjoyed and just taking myself out. Go to a place that I was always interested in eating and treat myself to a lovely dinner. Go out, enjoy the night, go to like some really happening spots. Like if you like to go to clubs, go to a club, meet some friends, meet some people. If you rather go and sit and watch a movie, go take yourself out to a movie. If you want to go and take like a nice stroll through like a scenic area and just enjoy the view, do it. But if you have a significant other, hopefully you are paying attention to things that they've said throughout the year or what they like, what type of things they like to do. Because some people are material. Okay. Can't knock them. They're material. And if they're material, obviously they like material things. So get them a gift. Some people just want to spend time with you. Like you can buy them the latest new smartphone, you can buy them a laptop, you can buy them a smart TV. And what would really make their day is if you actually put your phone down for the day and really pay attention to them, conversate with them, talk to them. Talk to them about whatever. Talk to them about the sun rising. Talk about the sun setting. Talk about the clouds going by. Some people are like that. I like to be like that. I like to, put things away and just give my attention to the person that makes me feel like I'm a million feet tall and I'm the best looking person in the world, which even though I'm not, we all know I'm not. But when you have that person that loves you for you and lets you be who you are, which is the greatest thing in the world, because there are people who date you and then slowly try to change who you are. They try to take what you are and make it into a version that they can deal with. And that should never be. If you can't be with the person for, if you can't overlook one thing or two things about a person, if those two things outshadow every other good aspect of that person, then you two don't belong together. But when you have that person that will love you for you and all your flaws and all your greatness, it's the best thing in the world. Best thing. It is. I can say that, because I've been in good relationships. I've been in bad relationships. I appreciate all of them, whether they were good or bad, because they taught me something in life. But then at the same time, too, what I ended up having is something more than I could ever wish for. And so that sounds very sappy, but I'll tell you guys right now, like the person that makes you feel good should really go above and beyond. And so tech could be it, because some people want that new iPhone or they want that new Galaxy device, and maybe that's something you're gonna look forward to. But not everybody looks for material things, and some people actually look just for the gestures, just for the time spent. So do your research, because we are a day away. We are. But anyways, everybody, thanks for coming in and watching and listening to me rant incoherently about some things and try to say the topic. I really appreciate y'all for coming in and just chilling. So I got quite a busy day ahead of me. Can't say too much because a certain somebody could be watching, so they don't need to know. And maybe I'll jump back on later on tonight and do another live broadcast. I got some time on my hands. I mean, I'm off, so. But yeah. So if I do another broadcast, what do you guys want to talk about? And the way you guys can do that is if you watch the replay in the comments, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Maybe we'll get down to business with those. But again, it's like 9:20 a.m. where I'm at. So good morning to all of you. Hopefully you have an amazing, great day. If you're heading off to work, if you're heading off to school, whatever it may be, stay positive. Keep an open mind about things. Love yourself above all. And I'll talk to you guys later. So have a great day, guys.